Hi, Sarona.
Yeah, hi, Mary. How are you?
Yeah, good. Okay, so let's wait for others to join. Still 10 more minutes are there. I just joined so that I can check the audio and video. Okay. Hope the audio is clear, right?
It's clear, Mary.
Hi, Sudha Narayan. How are you? Hi, Sia. How are you? Thanks for joining. Okay. So we still 7 more minutes are there. We will wait for other participant to join. So maybe we will wait for 8 or 10 minutes. After that, I will start the session. Hi, Madhavarati. Hi, Shubham.
Hello, Atmari. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. After a long time.
Yeah, yeah, yes. Thanks for joining. So I know yesterday was a celebration, right? So, but still, you have joined. So still,
Yes. Yeah.
I will share my screen. Let me know it's visible or not. Just a second. Hope my screen is visible.
Yes, visible.
Okay, wait. Okay. Hi, Soumya. Hi, Siam. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the time. Okay. So we will wait 5 more minutes. So before that, I wanted to share like some of the information. And OutSystem is conducting a webinar where they are going to share about the certification, and they are going to clear all the doubts related to the certification. So I will share that link in the chat. I hope it will be useful for you. So recently, our system done a lot of changes in the certification, the badges, and all got and even one uses like web ODC web developer specialist. If you are already having a O11 web developer specialist, then no need to register for an exam. You can just attend that guided path. If you complete that guided path, you will be automatically granted that badge. So these kind of news they may share it in that webinar. I hope it will be very useful for you. So I will share that webinar link in the chat. You can join and get the benefits. Just a minute, I will share that link. And you can use the chat section, and it's actually you can introduce yourself by unmuting also, or you can share about yourself in the chat, whether it's your first session and from where you are joining, and how many years of experience you are having in our system. And if you have any feedback, that also you can let us know, like upcoming sessions, which topic you are expecting. So those things you can share it in the chat. So our user group is not only for sharing the knowledge, right? So it's for networking as well. So you can use the chat, or you can unmute yourself and introduce yourself to the community. So I'm sharing that LinkedIn post about that webinar I told you. So it's for related to the OutSystem certification and the training needs. So this is the post, and I'm sharing the link to register as well. And if you have any question related to the certification, you can reach out to me as well. I am happy to help you. And yes, people are joining. So we will wait for 5 more minutes, and then I will start the sessions. Please introduce yourself in the chat. I can see some of the participants like regularly they are joining. Thanks for that. And I can see some of the new participants as well. So use the chat section, introduce yourself to the OutSystem Chennai user group community. So for the people who are joined now, so I have shared one link in the chat. This is about OutSystem webinar they are going to conduct in the upcoming week. So it's about the trust certification and training. Okay, so the OutSystem recently changed some of the things in the OutSystem certification. You can get all the information by attending this webinar, and I have shared the registration link for that as well. And if you have any other question related to the certification, anytime you can reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. Okay. And I think OutSystem Developer School is also running. You can refer OutSystem Developer Schools to your friends. And one more thing, so one conference is going to come. So they just told it's going to happen in September month, I think. They have not shared any further information. It's going to happen in Portugal. So let's see. So I will share maybe the next user group session. Maybe if they share all the information, we will share about the registration link. And if you want, you can submit your paper and participate in the conference. Okay. Okay, so let's begin, because this today's session I'm planning to cover ODC. What is ODC? what is the difference between ODC and O11, what is app, what is app library, what is the equivalent, right? So we are having 3-layer architecture in O11. So which model we can consider as the app or library? What are the elements can be shareable in app and library? What are the elements it's having, it is not having? And I'm going to give an example, not only one example, two example for converting a O11 architecture to ODC architecture. So so it's a very, what to say, like I'm planning to cover most of the things. So I will start the session. The session is getting recorded. So end of the sessions, I will upload this video in the YouTube, and I will share the link in the same event page as well as the LinkedIn. You can share it with your friends, and you can anytime you can watch that. So so, so before going to the session, just a minute. Okay, so what is OutSystem community? Right, so OutSystem community is having so many program to encourage the community developers. So I have listed down some of the program OutSystem is conducting. So you can go to this URL outsystem.com/community. You can get all the latest news, what is going on in the community, and all the latest announcement. You can get it from there. And there is one more initiative OutSystem started, I think 4 5 years back, that is user group, which you are joined today. So it's for the community, by the community. So it's a really great initiative by the OutSystem to share the knowledge. So you can share the knowledge, and you can share the ideas. You can network with the other OutSystem developers. So you can not only university, right? So you can join the user group globally. So most of the sessions is conducted in English. So you can join Delhi user group, or Bangalore user group, or Pune user group, or some user group from different country also you can join. So if you go to this URL, you can get all the list of events going to happen in the future. So you can just enroll and attend that session and gain the knowledge. And if you miss some session in the past, so you can go to that event page, you can find the video URL, you can watch and gain the knowledge. And to encourage the people who are actively participating in the community activities, our system introduced champion and MVP program. So champion is so it's a two different program. So MVP is so MVP also people who are community, who are contributing to the community and technical experts. And champions, they are encouraging other developers to do more, right? So there are two programs. So you can find the difference in this portal. And if you feel you are eligible for the champion, you can enroll it. I think currently it's not open. So but if when it open, you can enroll yourself if you are actively contributing to the community. And MVP, our system MVP, you can nominate any one of the community leader if they are contributing much, and if they are making difference. You can go to this URL and nominate. So recently only MVP program nomination got over, and they have announced the new MVP. So in that you can join, and you can nominate any community. Just a second. Okay, so these are the program our system is having for community. And so our system developer school, it's for the developers who is already having experience, expertise on some different platform, for maybe example .NET or PHP, right? And if you feel that person, right, or your friend, if they learn out system, it will be a change in their career. Then you can use this you can share this URL outsystem.com/developer_school, so they can just sign up and they can participate. It's a 2 week program, and they will get the training from the outsystem expert on ODC or outsystem reactive. So end of the program, they will get the voucher for exam as well. Okay, so it's completely free. So if you feel your friend is eligible for this program, you can share this URL and help your friend. And there is another one program OutSystem is conducting, OutSystem Research Program. So you can share your ideas, right, from the OutSystem community portal. And if you feel you can share your thoughts and opinion on the OutSystem research activities, the things they are going to release in the near future, right? So you can enroll to this program, and OutSystem will contact you and they will ask you to participate in a survey. You can share your opinions. Not only that, you can get to know what are the things is going on in the product, right? So what are the new updates going to happen in the near future. Also you can get the rewards as well. Okay, so this is one of the program. You can go to this URL and register yourself and participate in the OutSystem research program. And about Chennai OutSystem User Group, we are its leader. Me and Krishnabal leading this Chennai OutSystem User Group. I'm Hati Miri. I'm currently working in Asia as an architect, and I'm an official OutSystem champion. And Krishnabal, she is one of the MVP, and she is working as a manager in Sebia. So today I'm going to deliver a session, and this is the agenda. So already introduction is over, so technical discussion and then Q&A, and end of the technical session there will be a quiz as well. So if you can participate in the quiz, so the winners will get award from the out system, like some swag get from the out system. So that is the agenda. And what is ODC? All right, so ODC, OutSystem Developer Cloud, the name says, right? So it's a cloud native app development platform. So we all know, right? Native app development platform means completely it is modular and it is easily scalable because it's a cloud, and every application, right? So it will work like a standalone application. It will be deployed as a container. Okay, so dependency will be very less, and the application will be interacted like a microservices. So, and if you feel any one of the application is taking more load, it will be automatically scalable because it's a cloud. So because of the infrastructure, it can be automatically scalable. So these are the benefit of cloud platform. So ODC is built on top of that. So so we are going to see what is the difference between ODC and O11 on a different aspect, right? So first, related to the platform type. So in ODC, it is a cloud native, as I told now, and in O11, you can host the application in cloud or on-prem. You can have a separate on-prem server in your organization, and you can deploy the apps. But in ODC, it can be only hosted in the cloud, and it will be completely managed by the OutSystem. And ODC is designed for microservices. This fact I am really liking so much, because in O11 you can build microservices, but whenever you build a application, right? So for example, in an end user layer, you can create a block and make it public, and maybe some developer will be consumed wrongly, and block, we all know, right? So block is a strong dependency, and unnecessary it will create a side references between the end user applications. So all these things will be avoided here, because in if it is an application, automatically ODC will disable the public as property. Okay, so you can't make it public. So it is built for microservices, designed for microservices, and you can interact between the application only with service action or API. Okay, so you can't just expose a service action and consume it. So it's a completely loosely coupled. No strong elements are allowed between the application. Okay, and scalability, as I said before, it is a cloud, so it is highly scalable, automatically scalable. In O11 also it can be scalable. So if you want horizontally, if you want to scale, you can add, you can introduce many front-end server, and you can scale horizontally, and you can increase the RAM size and hardware, and you can scale vertically. But here the time will be, we will have some downtime, and high knowledge is required. right? If you're going for on-prem, it is more challenging, the scalability. But in ODC it is highly scalable and automatically scalable. And about the integration, I would say both are having similar things. Maybe in ODC still, the components are getting added, but it is also having REST API. SOAP API is not available, but REST API is available. You can integrate with the .NET components, and you can integrate with the database. So all the things are available in ODC as well. And updates and maintenance, so if you are running an application on-prem, right, so you have to manually update the platform server and all, right? But here in ODC it will be automatically maintained by OutSystem, automatic updates. Okay. And deployment model, it's a software as a service. Here it's a, if it's on-prem, it's a platform as a service. And infrastructure, it will be completely managed by cloud system. Here you can manage by, you can manage, or you can, it will be managed by the cloud provider. And to the so if you if you think about the development aspect, right, so if it is a mobile app development, so in O11 it is strong support for, we can create native application, we can create hybrid, and we can create PW. So here also same, you can create native as well as PW application. And here also offline support is there as O11. And here UI framework also similar we are having. So but here we are not having any traditional, so we are having only reactive or mobile. So here we are having that whatever framework we are having in our system 11 for reactive or mobile app, right? Same framework is available here as well. So development wise, no difference. So it's having all the things except the traditional web application. And if we think about the performance and additional feature, right? So if you think about the performance, you can optimize easily in ODC for high performance. So as I said before, right? So if a application is consuming more load, right, it can be scalable automatically because of the infrastructure, and the even DB also scalable. So the performance will be easily maintainable in ODC. And deployment, right? So deployment to app store, right? It is very simplified compared to O11. And not only app store, so even the lifetime, right? So in O11 we are using lifetime for the deployment. And dependency, refreshing the dependency, it's really painful. All the developers will agree to this point. So if you have any producer, if you make a change, then you have to go and publish all the consumer. And if without that, if you go to lifetime, yeah, it will throw so many errors. And solving that and deploying is really painful. But in ODC it will be automatically refreshed. Okay. And so deployment is very easy in ODC, and it will be maintained under ODC portal. Okay, so in O11 we are having, for deployment we are having lifetime, for user management we are having user application and things like that, right? And for monitoring we are having service center. But here everything is under one roof, ODC portal. Under ODC portal you can manage the IT user, you can manage the application user, you can deploy the application, right? So everything is under one roof, so it's very easy to maintain. And push notification, so it is also having push notification and other things. And as I said, development and deployment, right? So deployment, as I said, it's very flexible, and it is having built-in CI/CD pipelines. And high availability is also more because of the scalability, right? So the availability is more, and it's a cloud, so it will have different zones. So if one zone fail, it will automatically switch to another zone. And in O11 it is still, it is, you can do it, but it is configurable. You have to design the infrastructure in such a way so that you can get the higher availability. But here it's automatic. So these are the difference between O11 and ODC. So main thing is ODC highly scalable and performance is good. And only loose coupling between the application, it will the application will be deployed as a container. No dependency, strong dependency, so it will not fetch other things and try to deploy it. So, and everything is under the ODC portal. So these are the advantages of ODC. So it's a summary. So ODC, what's new? In O11 we are having, so you can create an application. Under application you can have so many models, right? Like CS, and CWO, and in a single application you can keep all the foundation models, foundation layer models, and user models, and core layer models. But here in ODC, one application is equal to one model, means they are removing the concept of model. So here apps equal to just a container. You can just create an app, it will just open the open it, and you can just develop and publish it, that's it. So there is a no concept of creating a model and maintaining it. And as I said before, application, right? So it should have only weak references between the application. So then how about sharing the data, right? So sharing the data, you can do it via service action. So so it is what to say, it is promoting the domain driven design, right? So everything is complete, separate container, right? So microservices. So and entities can be exposed as read only. In O11, you can make it false, and you can, some developers will directly use the create or update wrapper directly, right? Here, it is not allowable. That's why I'm liking ODC very much. So the way it is working, right? Because of that, the technical depths will be reduced so much because it is not allowable. So many things are not allowable, right? And server action cannot be public. Only you can interact using the service action. So as I said, right, so service action and APIs might be used to share the action to other applications. And entity, if you are making it public, right, and if you are kind of using as a foreign key in another one application, the delete rule by default, it will be ignored. You can't change it to some other rule like product or delete. You can use it, it will be automatically ignored. So these are the things that are new. And what are the terminologies using in ODC, right? So in O11, we will call it as environment. In ODC, it's a stage. So for example, dev environment, QA environment. Here they will call it as dev stage, QA stage, prod stage. And here we are having reactive web app, but here we are not having traditional at all. So here they are calling it as web app. And as I said before, there is no model in ODC. And in O11, we are having site property, right? So in ODC also, similar thing is available, but the name is settings. Okay. And so for the apps configuration, right? So we are having lifetime, also service center, but here ODC portal. So all the application, you can configure it in the ODC portal. And if you go to the submenu, you can do the configuration. And creating a mobile package, Android or iOS package, you can do it in both the places, Service Studio or Service Center. Here it is under ODC portal. And if you want to deploy an app to a stage, right? So means deploying the application to another environment. So in O11 we are using lifetime. As I said, here it's ODC portal. And maintaining the IT users and IT user, we are having lifetime. But here under ODC portal, user and access, you can create a IT users. And for the end user, application user also, we are having user console in O11, but here it's ODC portal. And this for the, so if you see here, right, so all the things are coming under ODC portal. And the end user, right, so you can restrict the end user in the role session, right? Screen, we will have different role, and you can check or uncheck, and have a control on the role permission, right? The screen access. Here it is called it authorization and accessible by. And so view apps and app details and deactivating the app, here we can do it from service center or lifetime, and here it is under OTC portal. And viewing the logs, here it's wrong, it's a service center. Some of the information, yes, we can do it from lifetime, but mainly we are using service center, but here it is under ODC portal monitoring. So everything is under one portal. There is a no concept of lifetime, user application, service center, and all. It's under ODC portal. Okay, so now we got a clear idea about ODC. So ODC is having two things: application, library. Here we are not having any three-layer canvas and all. So we are having application and library. We should understand this application library very clearly. Then only we can do a migration. Okay, so what is application? So when I hear that word, right, so I thought maybe it is equal to end user. Okay, so whatever we are having in the end user layer, it's equal to application, but it is not like that. it whatever things you are having related to the business, right? Not only the screen and screen level logic, the business logics also and business entities also, right? So some of the core elements also will come under application. So whatever related to the business and business concept and UI, it will come under the application. And as I said before, so application should be loosely coupled. So we are telling all the things related to the business will come in the application, right? So we all know, right? So in domain driven design, so if we are having two different domain, so we should communicate, right, by loosely coupled, right? We should not share anything between the application. Strong dependency we should not have, because otherwise unnecessary we have to, which will not have a separate deployment cycle. So that's why in application we should have loosely coupled between the each other. Okay, we should not have strongly coupled. So this point is very important. So because of that, it will have an independent life cycle. So what are the things we can use? What are the things we can use under application? If you want to create user interfaces, screens, and business blogs, right? You can use the application. If you want to expose the API, and if you want to expose some business logic, you can do it via service action. But business logic is coming under application, and timers, right? So timers also coming into application. So all the things that the business is coming into application, and it can communicate, like, you can only communicate between the application via loosely coupled, via service action or entity. You can make it public. We all know, right? Entity is also weak reference. You can make it public, yes, and you can consume the data. And about the logic, you can just wrap it under the service action and expose it. So this is about application. So if you see the elements, right? So if you keep this if you keep this point in mind, it will be very easy. So if you see this elements, right, we can easily understand. So these are the things that are available in the application. So we are not having BPT in ODC, that is one point. But we are having workflow, that is also coming under ODC portal. Okay. So we are having timer, we are having screen, block, external site, image, theme, script, everything we are having. Here also, if you see everything, service action is there, client action, server action, rest expose, rest consume, exception. And if in the data tab, we are having entity, static entity, entity diagram, client variable, right? So everything we are having. So, but if you think these 2 points, right, we should have only loosely coupled between the application, then we will come into this one, right? So reusability in application. What are the elements you can make it public so that it can be reusable in another application, right? So these are the things only you can make public. Other elements automatically, the public probability will be no. You can't change it. Okay, that is the beauty of ODC. So entity, static entity, you can make it public. Service action, we all know, right? So it is kind of API for the out system, right? So that is always public. And screen, but you can't make structure as a public structure. If you are using that structure as the output parameter or input parameter for a service action, then it's possible. But generally structure is not reusable. And server action, we all know it's a strong dependency. You can't make it public. Role, it's a recently our system made an announcement. So role also you can reuse it. Okay, you can make it public. And theme, you can't make it public because you are in an application, not a library. So theme, processes, client action, if you see all these things, right? So all the things are related to the what to say, like strong dependency elements. So all these things you can't make it public. But entity, static entity, service action, screen, so these things you can make it public in the application. Okay, so how applications are getting deployed, right? So application, as I said before, so it will it will create a container when you deploy, and imagine it is consuming some library, right? Then that library, copy of that library will come and sit in that container, and we are going to deploy it. Okay, so application is packaged into a container when published, and only weak references are allowed. So this is how application is getting deployed. Now, what is library? So all the things related to the business coming under application, right? So what is library? It is completely business agnostic. Okay. So you should not have anything related to the business here. That's why library, you can't create an entity. You can only create static entity. You can't create any entity. You can't create any screen. You can have a block. You can have a service action, and you can make it public, because library is for libraries to share the reusable logic or UI elements between the application or library. Okay, so that's why here strongly coupled is allowed, but how it will be deployed, right? So when you create a library, imagine you are having a library and you are having two three application ABC. So when you are trying to deploy A, right, so it will create a copy of that library and put it into a container, and then it will be deployed. So A application will have one library, for example version 1, and after that you made some change and then you are deploying the application B, then it will have version 2, right? So it is creating a copy of it. Okay, so that's why, so it is for, if you want to execute some logic, right, fast, and it is not completely, it should be completely business agnostic. Maybe, for integration wrapper you can use library, or for a theme, and if you are having some calendar and things like that, right, then you can go for a library. But so normally we will create a core widget block, right? So core widget model, so that one it will not come under library, because for core widget you should consume an entity, right? But in library, entities are not allowed, only static entities are there. So it is just for, I would say, like foundation layer, right? So foundation layer, what are the things are coming, it is completely business agnostic, so those things are will come under the library. All the most of the end user and core things will come under the applications. Okay, so we can have a reusable blocks, pattern layer, themes, integration wrappers, and logic utilities. So these things will come under library. So if you think about this point, right, then automatically you can say, so it is just to have a reusable element. So screens, it is not going to come, because it is completely business agnostic, right? So screen, what is the role of screen here, right? It's just a completely, some reusable things. So screen is not there, client variable is not there, entity is not there, and no need for service action, right? We are going to communicate strongly, right? So service action is not there, you can't have a rest expose, and no, so screen only not there, so there is no point to have a role, right? And timer is also not there. So if you see the elements which is there in the library, right, so block, script, everything, if you see, it is mostly, strong dependency elements like server action, client action, and rest consume is for integration wrapper, right? Exception and static entity, structure, settings is needed, right? So for example, if we are having an integration and we need to save the API key, right? So settings, resources, so these things only coming under library. Okay, so these elements we should be very clear, then only we can, when we refactor our code, we can easily classify it will come under ODC app or library, and we can refactor accordingly as well. So this is about library and reusability in library. You can reuse static entity, client action, server action, block, theme, image, structure, script, and all these things. These things are not at all available, so we can't reuse it. Like screen, entity, role, processes, and local entity. So these things are not available. Okay, and ODC library, as I said before, right? So whenever you are trying to publish an application, okay, so the ODC library, the particular version application is referring, right? That particular version will get copied to that application container, okay, and then it will be deployed. Okay, so this is how so you can see here, right? That particular thing is, we are getting some box, and that box is going inside the application container, and it is getting deployed. So this is what happening when we deploy the library. So each application have one version of, not, maybe same version, but one copy of library. Okay, so this is about ODC, a library, and how it getting deployed. And talking about deploying to the other stages, right? Other environments. So you can go to the ODC portal. So when you deploy, like for example, I'm going to deploy application A. So whatever library it is consuming, right? For example, it is having theme library, it is having some integration library, all the things will be getting copied to the container. It's already copied, right? So it's in the development. That container, it will be transferred to the quality and it will be transferred to the production. So you can't have any you can't do any hard fix. There is, not like quality environment. You can just log in and make a changes. It will create executable code, right? So it is a container, it's a standalone application. So if you want to make a change, then you have to do it in the development, then only you have to push the code. There is no other way. You can't do a hard fix directly in the quality or production. Okay. And configuration, you can change the configuration in the portal, development, QA, production, whatever, right? So you can apply the configuration in the ODC portal. Same thing goes to the setting. So because library is getting copied to each application container, right? So imagine it's a Slack API, right? So Slack API is having Slack token and is active. There is two side property I'm having, and I am having option that secret option is also available. That API token I am setting as secret. Imagine this is a scenario. Okay, then this library I'm consuming in this application and some other application. So as I said before, right? So library will be copied and while deploying, right? So each application will have a copy of that particular library. Because of that, so under application settings, you can see this library side properties. Okay, like application A also will have Slack token and is active. When you set that value, it will be only applicable to application A, and application B also, if you open, right, it will have a Slack token and is active. And if you put a value, it will be applicable only to the B. So this is one of the advantage. It is application specific. In O11, it is not like that. If you have some library, and if you want to change the value, right? So in end user, you will have site property and you will pass it, or you will have maintain some entity and pass it, right? So for example, one library, some 2 3 teams are business is consuming, right? So one business will use some different Slack token, right? So in that case, you have to maintain different site property or entity. Here it's not like that. It's a container. So application is, I will have a one library Slack API. So you can set the value easily. It is having this different container for each application. So whatever value you are entering, it will, the scope will be only to that particular application. And integration. So even not a token. So for example, the base URL of the integration, right? So that also you can change it in the ODC portal. So here also it's same. So it is containerized. So you can change the value and the scope will be to that particular application. Okay, so imagine, right? So library application, if they give the introduction, right? So library will say, when I release, everyone can adapt at their own pace, right? So whenever you are publishing a library, you are setting one, and after that you are making that change, right? So no need to worry about like you need to go and change it, because it is already deployed and it is having version 1 only. It is tagged to version 1. It created a copy. Okay, you maybe now deployed and it is you have tagged as version 2, but that application A is using version 1 only. Because of that, library is saying, when I release, everyone can adapt at their own pace, right? And I am containing only business agnostic elements. Means whatever elements I am having, it is completely business unrelated. Okay, it is not at all having any business related elements. I do not have my own runtime context, so it is dependent on the application, right? So that's why. So this is how library will introduce to ourselves. And if we are like application, how it will introduce, right? So when I release, everyone will have to adapt, right? And my elements are business aware. So all the elements are related to the business, and I have my own runtime context. So this is all about library and application. So this understanding is very much important. So now we will see some of the scenarios and how we can solve it, like how we have to create a application or we have to create a library. Some 3 4 example we will see, and then we will see a complete example. Okay, so we will take one O11 architecture and we will see how we can what are the models will go to application and what are the models will go to the library. Okay, so imagine, okay, so you are having theme and patterns. Okay, so pattern, whatever block it's having, it is not at all referring any business related entity. It is just a referring some maybe some static entity. It is completely unrelated to the business. So you are having that kind of setup. Okay, so then in that case, for theme you can create a separate library, and for pattern you can create a separate library, and it can be consumed by application 1 as well as application 2. So libraries is to, its main thing is to promote the reusability. So if you make some change, both application will be get advantage, and it will not disturb anything. So maybe application 1 is using version 1 and application 2, right? So maybe it's using version 2, right? So it is to promote the reusability. Okay, and this is one of the examples. So if you want to share the look and feel, right, you can go for library. And so theme, right? So for example, you are having some enterprise style sheet. Okay, and on top of that you want to create a web application as well as mobile application. So web application, some css are different, and mobile application, because of device there are some different css. In that case, how I can go, right? So you can have a library, base library, so that is a base theme. On top of it you can create a web theme and mobile theme. So it will consume some of the things from the base themes. So mobile theme will have the css related to the mobile application, and web theme will have the css related to the web application, and corresponding end user application, right? So that application can consume the library, like mobile theme library. Mobile application means it can consume mobile theme library, and if it's a web application it can consume the web theme library. Okay, so this is one of the things. So if you're having some base theme, and it is common to different themes, right? So then you can have a base theme, and then you can have a two consumer themes, and top of that you can have a application. So this is one of the example. Okay, so now block. Okay, so I want to, in the menu, I want to show some block in the header, right? So that header info, maybe that it could be some application name or something. But that header info, right? So it is some the data point. Okay, imagine the data point value, right? As I said, right? So entities can be only created in application, not in the library. So in the patterns library, you are having a getter header block. Okay, that whatever look and feel you want to achieve. So all these things, it's available there. But what value? That value, it is available from the, it is coming from the entity, right? So you can't create an entity in the library, right? So you can just create a block there, and whatever the data point you want to show in that web block, you can, for that you can just create a input parameter. Okay, now imagine there is a two application. Okay, and application 2 only having that entity, right? So which data we need to show it in the header web block. Okay, application 1 also we want to show that header, application 2 also we want to show that header. In that case, what we can do, either we can, expose that entity as a public, and we can consume that one in the application 1, and we can fetch that information, and to that web block we can pass it, and it will be shown. That is one way. Or you can export the data with a service action, right? So you can, in application 2 you can create a service action calling it as header info. That service action you can consume it in application 1, and it will return the data, and that data you can pass as a input to that web block. So you can't have any entity, business related entity, right? You can't create any entity in the library. And in that case, what if, maybe I want to show a picture in that blog, but I can't save the picture in the, maybe based on each user it's going to change, so I can directly put it in the library. In that case, you can have an entity in one of the application. You can expose the data as a maybe a service action or entity, and that service action with that other application can fetch the information, and you can keep a input parameter maybe that binary, right? You can keep it as an input parameter for that web block, and if you pass that binary, it can be displayed, right? So this is how you have to manage this kind of scenario. Okay. And and imagine if you want to create app switcher menu, right? So it is very much straightforward. So you can just use the external link, static link, and it can bind to the application 1, application 2, application 3, because you can't consume anything in the library, right? Like screen you can't consume in the library. So you can just to put an external link. When it is clicked, it can go to the application 1 or application 2 or application 3. Okay. Now, integration. So before that, just I wanted to confirm, hope my audio is clear, no disturbance. Hello, anybody, can you please confirm?
Yeah, it's all okay.
Okay, great. Okay, now about integration. Okay, so as I said before, so all like integration, right? So generally we will have an integration in the foundation layer, right? So here integration, you can for integration you can use a library. Okay, so library is a library expose is not there, but consume is there. Rest consume is there. Because of that, for example, ERP API, right? You can consume in that library, and you can create a server action. That server action can be consumed by application 1 and application 2. Okay, so uh, we all know, right? So if it's a strong dependency, then we can go for a library, right? So we can expose a server action or client action as public, and so that can be consumed by different application, right? So if it's a strong dependency, then we can go for library. So this is one of the example for how we can share the how we can create the integration wrapper in a ODC. Okay, so we can go for library, and we can expose a server action. Then that server action can be consumed by different application. Okay, now about sharing the data. Okay. Okay, so see, maybe for example, right, in O11, if it is a country, state, city, generally what we will do, we will create maybe, maybe some foundation layer only. We will fetch that country, city, and date, state, and we will have an entity. That entity will be consumed by different end user or core application, right? But because of the fact, right, so in library we can't create any entity. So how we can share the data, right? So like that data is common to some different applications. So how I can share that, right? In that case, you can go with the application. Okay, if it is a what to say, like that the data is not going to change, it's going to change very slowly, right? That generally like a master data, right? So in that case, you can go for application. Okay, because in that application you can have those entities, and those entities can be consumed by application 1 and application 2 and application 3. Okay, so this is how you can share the data. And there are some more pattern as well. For example, if you want to share the data which is having some business information also, right? Then in that case, instead of sharing the entities having some business logic, and application 1, maybe they don't want to know all the data, right? Maybe they want to know, for example, if it's HR system, right? So the HR people only want the candidate name and the contact information, and if it's a finance team, they want the finance related information. And based upon that, you can share that info, right? So the based upon the business, based upon the domain it is requesting, right? So you are going to share the data. In that case, you can share the data via service action. You can create a separate service action for HR domain, you can create a separate service action for a finance domain and things like that, and you can share it. Okay, so that is one of the pattern. But if it is completely a master data, it is not going to change. It is, it is common to all the application. Then you can just to keep that entity as a public, you have to go for a library. You can keep that reference data, reference entities, and you can make it public and you can consume it. Okay, now our example. Okay, so I'm going to choose this example, doctor appointment. Okay, so the application, I will just tell the requirement, and I will show you the O11 architecture. Okay, so I want to build an application in that the doctors can see the agenda, and see their patient's exam and select the urgent cases. Okay, so they can see all the patients list, and they can see the patient reports, and they can select the urgent cases and things like that. And the doctors are having different, there are different department, right? So different units are there, and one doctor can go to different hospitals also. Okay, and they are using Google Calendar for appointments. Okay, and to find the doctor's availability and appointment. For example, I am the receptionist, right? So somebody is reaching out to me, I will open that application. So for me, right, so there will be a separate web application. In that I can see the doctor's calendar. Based upon that, for that particular patient, I will create a appointment. Okay, and the doctor will have a separate application. They can see the patients allocated to them, and they can see the reports uploaded by the patients, and they can see different units, different hospitals, from what time they are going to what time they should go to which hospital and things like that. They can see it. Okay, so this is the simple example. So this is the current architecture in O11. Okay, so as I said, for a receptionist, I'm having appointment planner, and the doctor is having a mobile app, so that it is very handy. They can see the things like the patient information very easily, and they can go to the place accordingly, right? So there is a two application. One is a mobile app for doctor, and one is a web app for the appointment planner. And these are the core models I'm having. So to save the hospital, different hospital information, hospital CS, and to save the doctor information, doctor CS, and to save the reports, right? So for that I'm having exam CS. To save the patient information, there's a patient CS, right? And the appointment, the web application related core web block, right? So I'm having appointment core widget, and appointment related business logic, I'm having appointment underscore BL. And for the mobile app, right? So for the mobile app, maybe I should have a sync logic and all, and whatever related to the business logic, I'm having Dr. MBL. And similarly for that mobile application, I'm having MCW. Okay, and in the foundation, so mainly it is working based upon the Google Calendar, right? So I'm having Google Calendar. Since it's a different type of application, right? One is web and one is mobile, so I'm having mobile TH, okay, Doctor App MTH, and planner underscore TH. And so there is one more recommend also. I should get a message. The doctor should get a message. Okay, SMS. So for that, I'm having text message IS, and the not only the SMS, they should have a push notification in the mobile application. So these things also there. Okay, so this is the existing O11 architecture. So we are going to see in detail, and we are going to decide. We need to choose app or library based on the elements. Okay, so if we see the MTH, right? So in the MTH, we are going to have only rules and the logic related to the login action. Okay, not related to any business things. No, we are not going to have any entities and things like that. And the interface side, we will have a maybe some layout, right? And the web block for login. Okay, so these things we are going to have. Since because of these elements, right? So if you see all the elements, we are having web block, exception flow, maybe some a logic related to the roles, and logic related to the login only. That's it. Okay, no business related information. So we can go for library. So it's a theme, right? So, and also especially, right, look and feel, the theme is there. Okay, so for this we can go for a library. Okay, so for mobile TH, Doctor App MTH, I am choosing a library because the elements is whatever elements I'm having, it's not having any application related elements. So I can go for library. And it is completely business agnostic, right? So I can go for library. And similar thing applicable to the planner THSO. So planner, that web application theme also same thing, right? So I can have a web block in, that web block, I can have exception flow and layout and look and feel. I can have some CSS and things like that, and some roles. So this is also completely business agnostic, and all the elements are satisfying the OTC library rules, right? So I can go for OTC library for the planner TH as well. And push notification plugin, right? So this push notification plugin, we can have maybe some input output structure. We will have some logic for notification and validation action just a, integration purpose, like, it's just a plugin, okay, mobile plugin. So this is also completely business agnostic. It can be used by the application, but it is completely business agnostic. So this one also I can go for a library. And if I see Google Calendar is, right, so the Google Calendar is, it's just imagine it is just to communicate between the Google Calendar, just to consume the Google Calendar API. In that case, you can go for a library. But if it is having some widget or something like that, right, so even the weblog is fine, right, in the library. But if you have some related to the some business logic, right, so that you should segregate and put it in the application. For example, whenever any calendar appointment is happening, you are maybe sending a, creating a record in a business entity, you are updating some status in the business entity. That logic you have to separate and keep it in the application. So this particular library should have, it should just for the integration with the Google Calendar. Like that, you have to refactor and you can choose the library. Okay. And similar thing for the text message. So it is just for integration, so SMS purpose, right? So whatever actions you want to keep, you can keep it, and it is eligible for the library. So if you see all the things related to the foundations, right, it's going under library. And if you have any business related logic, you should refactor and, move it to the business side, the application side, you have to move it. And coming to the core logic, so here only the confusion will occur. So, whenever I heard application library, right, so app end user library, then, it is for foundation. But what will happen to the core, right? So that is the confusion I got when I heard these two words, okay, app and library. So so all the, like, most of the core models, right, if it is related to the business concept, then this is also going to come under the application only. Okay. So for example, MPL, so here I will have a local storage entities and entities, right? So if it comes entity, then definitely I have to choose application only, I can't go for library. So entity is there, and some specific screen data, that is there, and some CRUD action is there. Okay, then check role is there. Okay, so all these things are there, then definitely I have to choose application, right? Because entity is there, local storage entity is coming, right? So I have to choose the application only. Okay, so doctor underscore MPL is coming under application. And appointment BL, okay, so in the appointment BL I am having, some timer or business flow and all, to approve the agendas, the doctor can go and approve it and all. So I'm having some PPT for that. So currently this is what happening in the O level. So what I can do for ODC, we all know, right? So BPT is not there in ODC, so what we can do, so equivalent is, if it is a BPT, you can create a workflow. If it is a light PPT, you can use events. Okay, so in ODC there is a concept called event to communicate between two different applications, so you can use that. Okay, so and here timer is coming, that is one point. And you having some entities, right? And the some business related actions are there, so it is some business elements are coming. So it is also coming into library. So appointment B are also coming under library. Okay, and now the CS generally we will keep all the entities, right? So hospital CS is having hospital related information, doctor related, exam, and patient. So all these things will come under the application only, because it should have a entities, business related information. So we have to create a ODC application for this. Okay, and the MCW, right? So here only the confusion will occur. Okay, weblog, I am in library also, I can have a weblog. So shall I choose library, because that weblog is consumed by some 2-3 application. Okay, shall I go for library? The answer is no, because you see, if you create some weblog for a screen, right, and if it is related to the business, maybe you are having a blog for a list screen for a table, or you are having some blog for a form. In that case, you have to access the data, you are doing some uh, doing some operation on the data if it is a form, right? So then definitely entities are getting involved, right? So it is business agnostic, it is related to the business, it is not business agnostic, right? So you have to, if it is a core widget, you have to go for ODC library only, sorry, ODC application only, you can't go for ODC library. Okay. And we all know, so end user layer, so screens will come, so definitely we can go for ODC application. So this is the my understanding, right? So so if you after you do the refactoring and all, this is what you will get. Maybe what you can do is you can keep only one doctor application. In that only you can put all your business logic and web blogs and all, you can put it under there, and only you can create only one ODC application. That is up to you, based on the complexity you can decide, but this is what will happen. So all the things led to the integration style sheet and completely business agnostic, and it's eligible for the library, and all the things which is led to the business information, right? So that is coming under application. Okay, so this is a simple example. Okay, what if, right? So if you are, it's a very big enterprise application, there are so many business teams are there, so many business owners, there are so many business sponsors. So that kind of factory, what are the steps? Okay, so for that kind of architecture, what are the steps I have to follow? Here it is very much straightforward. Based on the element we have decided, based on the business related or non-business related, we have decided and easily refactor. But in the that kind of complex architecture, right? Maybe you will have one foundation element, it will be consumed by some 2 3 different business teams, right? In that case, you have to do it very carefully. So these are the steps. So it is same, the rules are same for domain driven design as well. Okay, so first you have to identify. So if you are already following in O11 only, you are already following the domain driven design, then so if you are having different domain, you are communicating only with the service action and all, then it will be very easy to convert into ODC. But in O11 we are having a privilege, right? So even though if it is belonging to different teams or different business team, right? So still we are, sometimes we are consuming the things, we are, server action, we are having strong dependency between the vertical application, right? Side references and all, you may have. So in that case, you have to avoid that first. So first you have to solve all the um, you know um, a mentor suggestions, and the discovery, you have to go and solve all the architecture breaches, and you have to set the domains. Then automatically discovery will say, okay, so these are the steps. Okay, so first you have to identify the application concepts. So what so for example, this application, right? So HR, so these, what are the models are coming, right? This is only related to this particular application. Like that, you have to segregate and refactor your code. And in that, after identifying the application concept, right? So you have to identify the bounded context. So for example, maybe you have identified some 2 3 things. For example, employee and things like that, employee, um maybe the contact information, some application concept you have arrived, and you have to understand the bounded context, and you have to group it, you have to rearrange, you have to group it and create a single bounded context and things like that. Okay, so that is the second step. And the third step is very much important, to have a different life cycle. Okay, so you have to, based upon the business owners or sponsor, right? So you have to again segregate, even the context is same, but if it is having different business owner, you have to again segregate it, you have to separate, based upon the business owners also you have to separate, and then you have to separate, and then you have to keep a loose dependency between those domains. Okay, and these are the rules, right? So you have to have a clear ownership, so one team can be allocated to one domain only, and the life cycle should be independent. So when you try to deploy the your code, it should not bring some other team's code. Okay, generally it will happen, so those things should be avoided. How we can avoid? Using a service action, using everywhere. If If you have a loose coupling, then it will not happen, right? So you should avoid all the strong dependencies, and the reduce complexity for the developers. Okay, so no, so if you have this kind of strong dependency, right? So the developers, even though I'm not from that team, right, I should remember what is happening in that team also, and I have to refresh their dependency while deploying. So those things can be avoided. Okay, and then the fourth step. So once the domain driven design is ready, so means all the vertical domain is communicating using the loosely coupled manner, then you can separate apps and library. Okay, like that you have to refactor. So should not have any strong dependency between the end user application. So all these things you have to solve first, then you can categorize whether it will come under app, it will come under library, you can decide. Okay, so this is a example. Okay, you can see different business owner and business sponsor. So there is a factory, it is having broker portal, client portal. Actually in the client portal, client website is also there, and they are having mobile app also. Okay, and auto portal, health portal, and multi-risk portal. And if you see the services, right, so insurance, there is a service called insurance, simulation, and CRM. So for each services there are different business owners and sponsor. Okay, and we are having separate team for web application, separate team for mobile application, and pattern separately. Okay, and we are having one integration for auto portal, auto plates is. Okay, and there is a you are consuming some .NET extension for a calculation, legacy calculation engine. Okay, like maybe you are consuming their entity or whatever, right? So you are consuming one extension. Okay, and for the mobile application you have to use some mobile plugin. So this is the architecture. So how you are going to change this one? Okay, so if you see, first we will identify the library first. Okay, so library, if you see plugins are there. First of all, I see the foundation layer, right? So web theme is there, mobile theme is there, and pattern is there, right? And then there is a mobile plugin, and there is one integrations is there, and there is one extension also there, right? So these things. So if you see here, if you see the library simple, right? If you see here, this is web theme, and this is the pattern. Okay, and this is the mobile, this is the related to the mobile plugins, and this is the mobile theme, and this is that autoplates integration, right? So autoplates connector, and this is the one library. So if you see here, whatever foundation we are having, right, it become a library, and but the end user depends on the portal, depends on the web or mobile application is going to vary. Okay, now we will identify what will happen to the services. Okay, so maybe you can think, right, why yeah, it's having an entity, of course, so we should go for a application only. What is the application? Why to create three different application, right? Maybe I can create one single ODC application, and I can keep all these things, right? Insurance simulation, CRM, whatever entity is there, I can keep it in one ODC application, and I can consume it wherever you want, right? But you can't do that. Because why? Because each services is having different business owners. So some enhancement is going to happen in different phases. So you can't keep it in a single container, right? So you should have a separate container for these core services. So if you see here, right, so insurance services separate application, simulation service separate application, and CRM services separate application. And whatever the auto services, health services, and multi-rig services, right, we are not having separate application. So whatever into the auto, that business logic or entity, you can keep it in the auto live. Anyway, you have to create a application, OTC application for auto portal, right? You can keep it there only. And multi-risk also same, you can keep it there only. But if it's having a different business owner, and then you are creating a separate ODC application, right? So this is the end architecture. If you see here, the client mobile, right? So the client mobile ODC application, it is having a screen, and it is consuming the mobile theme library, and it is consuming also the mobile plugin library. So this is one, one thing, one box. So when you deploy this client mobile, it will take a copy of this mobile theme, it will take copy of this mobile backends, right? So and then you can deploy it. Okay, this team 2 is working on this one. And if you see broker portal, right? So broker portal, it should interact with insurance services and simulation and CRM. So it's having a dependencies, and it's loosely coupled dependency. So if you see here, it's a dotted line, right? And it is also consuming the theme as well. Okay, the web theme. And this particular this particular the services, right? So the core services we are having separately, and it can be consumed by a broker portal, and the team one is working on a broker portal. And if you see client web here also, it can consume all these things, but the web theme, right? So here we can have a strong dependencies, and it is run by team 2 again. And like this, right? So it is very, then if you have a domain, if you identify the domain, if you identify the business sponsors, different ownership, right? So then it is easy to, and it is if we are communicating between the domains, if we are communicating only via service action, like loosely coupled manner, then it is very easy to identify the ODC app and library. And if you have any core services which is not used by other business, right, other vertical business, maybe a single business only consuming that core service, then you can keep that core service inside that single ODC library only, like ODC library which you have created for creating a screen. So this is one of the example when you are having multiple team and different team and different ownership. Okay, so that's it. You can tell your questions. Any questions, please?
Yeah, one question I have is like, I mean, talked about exposing these entities as public. So how does the securities applied? Like, I mean, who can access?
Okay. So you were saying in the means
In our
app.
application, we are exposing your I mean, the entities, right? As public. That means anyone can add a reference to it and consume it.
Right.
Because there is no layer on top of it, so it's just public.
Yes.
So, I mean, is there any practice which says that, okay, use it only for your internal applications? Or
Okay,
there
so
is no?
entity level, we are not having that kind of setting. But what you can do, right? So if you are very much concerned, maybe you want to give that data to that particular group, you want to have some authorization rule on top of it, right? So in that case, you can expose via service action.
Okay.
Yeah, service action, you can check the roles before exposing the data.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, that would be the right approach.
Yes.
And one other thing about refactoring, I mean, migrating this OS 11 to ODC application, you show a screenshot where you mark the core and foundations into different applications as well as the libraries.
Library.
So
Yes.
if you take that particular example, how many applications would be there? Is it two or more?
It depends on the complexity. So as I said, the last example, right? So
Yeah.
the core service is consumed by only one business domain. Then you can create only one application. In that only you can keep all your business logics and as well as the screens. So if you feel the complexity is more and things like that, you want to keep different things, then you can and it is reusable by some other people, like for example the data, right? Maybe it should be consumed by some different application, then you can go for a separate application, but it's a rare case. So mostly if you even if you want to share the data, right, so you can share via service action. So mostly the business logics and all the screens will come under a single application.
Yeah, thanks. I'm referring to the doctor application that we have done, right?
Right.
So there we typically have two end user application. Now here also we'll be having two applications, right?
Right, because of the application nature, because one is web and one is mobile. That's
Right. So
right.
basically, this application planner will be a big or thick application, and it will be exposing the services which the Docker application would be consuming. Can we say that?
Right. If it so the example, whatever the main objective of showing that example is based on the elements you like which one you will choose, like app or library. But
Mm-hmm.
I would so what I have considered is it's a very what to say, like complex application. That way I
Mm-hmm.
have considered. But if it is a very simple application and the elements are very less and the data you are not going to expose more and there are no like more not more logic, then you can go for a single application. So in that single application, for example, doctor mobile application only, as I said, right? So you can keep the mobile that CSS, right? So MCS you can keep it, and the whatever to the web block, right? MCW, that one
Mm-hmm.
also you can keep it under a single application.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions?
Uh, Hi, I have one questions. I have one doubt.
Yeah, please. Yeah, Venkat.
Actually, for example, we have two applications, right? Application A and application B.
Hmm.
In application A, I have one entity. In application B, I have another entity.
Okay.
I can reference both application A. I reference the entity from application B. In
Hmm.
application B, I reference the entity from application A.
Hmm.
It's like circle, right? But O11, it's not. We are not doing like this, right? In circular. Is it allowed in ODC?
It is so actually
It can be.
entity is a weak dependency, right? So entity is a weak dependency. In ODC, it is applicable. You can keep it like that.
Okay, but in library, it's not doing that.
In library, you can't have entity only. You can't create any.
Like for example, entity means other than server actions, client action.
Server action and client action. You can have it. You can make it public, and you can consume it in an application or library. And you can from two different library you can consume it. The thing is it is going to create a copy of that and deploy it, right? So it will not create any problem.
Okay, thanks.
Shivam, sorry, I have one question.
Yeah.
Just like we have took one example here, if we have two different application and we have two separate entities in two different application, and using service action we can consume it in another application. But for filter and sorting, will it get tough for us if we will consume through the service action? Because whenever we use or talk about the aggregate, we have lots of functionality, maximize aggregate, and use the sorting group by filter. So how can we handle that one?
So if you are so the scenario is you want to just consume the data, or you like Sia said, right? So you want to have some additional security layer on top of it. If you should have additional security layer, then you can maybe screen level also you can have us that security and consume it. But if you are sharing via service action, right, then in that case you have to use a list operation, and then you can have a list filter and list search. You can't take advantage of aggregate. It depends on the use case. So if you just want to expose the data without any any you don't want to for example, there are 10 columns. I want some only 5 columns, and some business logic is on top of that. Then in that case, you can go for service action. But if you just want to show the data and you want to do search and filtering, then you can just expose as an entity and you can take a help of aggregate. But first, because of the business case, you have to expose as a service action only. Then in that case, you have to use a list filters only.
So basically, Shubham, I mean, with entities, you get everything, all the freedom. You can do whatever you want. But the moment you are putting a wrapper, then you have to implement the pagination. You have to have the parameters for the filtering. You may have parameters for maybe sorting. So whatever that we used to get out of the box will not be there.
Right.
Got it. Thank you, Ziv. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, and now it's a quiz time. I will share the screen and the game pin will appear. You can join that game and the questions will come. So the important thing is not only the correct answer, the how fast you are answering the question. So the for the winners, right, the first three winners we will um, first three winners can get a swag kit from our system. So you can share the information to me after the game over. I will share it to the OutSystem team. They will share the swag kit to your home address. So let's start. 1 minute. Let me share again. Okay. So this is the game pin 237996. You can go to Kahoot.it, and if you enter the game pin, you can join this game, and you can start the quiz. I'm sharing some of the useful links in the chat. So migration patterns, right? So for weblog, what needs to be done? What if it is shared by some different applications? So for each element, what can be done? So that is mentioned in this particular link. You can go through that. And previously we have conducted a session for that as well. I will share that URL also in the chat. So this URL is having the video also, YouTube. You can watch it. You can get the information in detail. And the doctor application is my own example. So our system is providing one example. So that's what I explained in the second example I provided, right? So that one also, that link also I will put it in the chat. Okay. Okay, so I hope everybody joined. I will start the game. Okay. So this is the first question. How are libraries packaged in ODC? As part of the consumer application container, a separate container is okay, we have very less time. 7, 6. Okay, 4 more seconds. Okay, so the answer is, if it is a library, right, so it will go under the consumer application. Okay, so as a part of the consumer application container, libraries will be packaged. Okay, so that is the correct answer. 9 people answered correctly. And Vinod, First, Rajeshri second, and Ram Prasad third. And the fourth is Shriya, and fifth is Madhava. Okay, the second question. Which statement is true? The statements are: libraries are loosely coupled with consumer apps. Libraries are strongly coupled with consumer apps. Libraries cannot be coupled with consumer apps. Coupling depends on the deployment environment. Basically, by a library, you can have a strong dependency or weak dependency. The difference. Yeah, more people answer correctly. So with a library, you can have strongly coupled. You can have a strong dependency between the consumer application. Okay. So Rajeshri is leading, Ram Prasad second, and Nani third, Jyoti Kartika fourth, and fifth is Sharan. And the third question: which platform supports auto scaling and self healing capabilities? OutSystem 11 or ODC or both platform or neither platform? Auto scaling, which platform is supported? ODC or OLED? Okay, I think more people answer already. Yes, ODC supports self auto scaling and self healing. And Ram Prasad is leading, Jyoti Kartika second, Nani third, Charan and Vinod. Okay, now the fourth question: which platform is optimized for microservices architecture? OutSystem 11 or Cloud ODC? Both, neither. I think more people answered already. Now let's see the answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is ODC. Yes, that is correct. So ODC is optimized for microservices architecture. So now Ram Prasad is leading, Nani second, Jyoti Kartika third, Vinod fourth, Rajeshri. Anytime the scoreboard can change, so answer it very fast. In ODC, what is the equivalent of environment? O11 we will call it as environment. In ODC, what is the equivalent? It's a stage. Stage is the correct answer. And now Ram Prasad is leading, Nani second, Rajeshri third, Shia fourth, and Venkatesh fifth. Now the sixth question: which of the following is not a characteristic of an ODC application? Loosely coupled, can contain microservices, must always be deployed together independently. What is the correct answer? Yes. So ODC application is loosely coupled. It can contain microservices. It can have independent life cycle, but no need to deploy two different applications together. Okay, it is not a mandatory thing. So this is the correct answer. So Ram Prasad is leading, Rajeshri second, Shriya third, Venkatesh fourth, and Anand is fifth. So the seventh question: what type of dependencies exist between ODC applications? Okay. Between ODC application, which dependency is only allowed? Yes, weak application only allowed between the ODC applications. So now same Ram Prasad first, second Rajeshri, third Sia, fourth Venkatesh, fifth is Anand. So now the eighth question is: how can configuration values be set in ODC? Only at development time, only at deployment time, to the ODC code, the overriding default value cannot be changed. So already more people answered. The answer is yes. With the ODC portal, you can set the configuration values. But still, the leaderboard is same. Ram Prasad first, Rajeshri second, Sia third, Venkatesh fourth, and Anand is fifth. And ninth question: in ODC, reusable UI components are stored in where you can have a reusable UI components. libraries, models, or external APIs. So the reusable UI components can come under ODC app or library. Right? Models and external API definitely not the correct answer. Yes. Under library only you can have a reusable UI components. Okay, because in between the application you can keep weblog as public. Okay, you can't share the weblog between the application, so only under the library you can have a weblogs as public. So same Ram Prasad first, second Rajeshri, third Sia, fourth Venkatesh, fifth is Anand. So the 10th question: what is not a future of ODC? Cloud native architecture, modular development, on-premise deployment, continuous integration, and deployment. So already everybody answered, I think. Okay. The answer is on-premise deployment, not a modular development. So like modular architecture, that means, okay. So you will not have on-premise architecture in ODC, right? So that is the correct answer. On-premise deployment, we are not having under the ODC. We are having modular architecture, cloud native architecture, continuous integration and deployment, but on-premise deployment is not there in ODC. So now let's see who won the award. Third is Anand. Second is Sia. And first is Ram Prasad. Okay, congratulations winners. Fourth is Sam and fifth is Rajeshri. Thanks for joining this session. And Sia, Ram Prasad, Anand, please share your information to me in my LinkedIn. So I want your PAN number, email ID, phone number, and address, your address, and then your t-shirt size. So please share that information to my LinkedIn. And after this session, you will get a feedback form. So please share your feedback. Based upon that only we can improve ourselves, and please give your suggestions on the suggestions, as well as if you have some topic for the upcoming session, please share it with us. And so whoever is there, right? So can we take a photo, or maybe everybody can turn the video on, and maybe we can take a photo, please. I will stop the sharing. Hi Shia, okay. It's not compulsory, but if you're okay, you can turn on the video and we can have a group session. Hi Nani. Okay. Thanks for your time on the weekend, and especially on the long weekend, right? You spend the time. Thanks for that. I hope you like the session. So if you have any feedback, please let me know. And the upcoming week also we are having a session. So Teacher is going to deliver that session related to the coach and everything. So please join me. Sorry, yeah, please tell me.
Yeah, thanks, Hatimari, for coordinating all these activities. Indeed, it is a great initiative. And,
Thank you. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your nice words. Yeah. So yes, every week we are planning to conduct a session. Let's see, and soon we are going to conduct an in-person event in Chennai.
Okay.
So, yeah, let's meet everybody. Let's meet in that event. And if you want to speak in the upcoming session, you can reach out to me or Krishnambal. So we will facilitate the things for you. So it is, you can share your knowledge with the community as well, right? So you can reach out to me, and whatever suggestion you are having, you can reach out to me or Krishnambal. And if you have anybody having some questions on certifications, and things like that, you can anytime you can reach out to me. I'm happy to help. And thanks for your time. Thank you so much. Bye everyone. Bye.